Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to Sun Rain Tarot. This is going to be your last portion for my deck strength and weakness for the month of June 2023. So this will be the final video covering the Beautiful Beast Tarot. And this is your second anti-pair video. So we're going to cover tarot decks that will not pair with the Beautiful Beast Tarot. Please keep in mind, this is pairs that energetically do not pair well. It is not about the aesthetics. So looks are out of the question. That is shallow. So we are talking energy. And we're going to start off with decks that I know right off the bat that won't pair because the strength of these decks are shadow work, which happens to be the weakness here of our Beautiful Beast Tarot. So the first deck we're going to start with is the Myths and Legends Tarot. This is an indie deck, Kickstarter deck by Taylor Hultquist-Todd, and it covers Myths and Legends, as it states in the name. Because it's a shadow work deck, yeah, it ain't happening. As you can see, the deck is very dark. Is there animals present? Yes, there's animals in it. However, its strength is the Beautiful Beast Tarot's weakness, so it's not going to work. And I have quite a few of these. I have at least four decks for this. The next one is actually not an indie deck, it's a mass market. This is the Magical Dogs Tarot, which is my #1 shadow work deck in my entire collection. Because even though it doesn't look it, even though it's an animal theme deck, which, let's see if I can get us a little bit closer, it does shadow work like none other. Actually, I've dubbed it my Pain to Gain deck. So, yeah, these two can't jive, which is kind of sucks, but, you know, what can you do? It's the strength and the weakness of the deck. They clash. Ain't nothing you can do about it. All right, we're going to move on to our next deck, which is going to be an indie deck. And it, too, has the strength of shadow work. That is the Baroque Tarot. And this is by Lamessi Design. Or Lamucci Design. Well, yeah, something like that. And unlike the Magical Dogs Tarot, this one actually looks like a shadow work deck. It is dark. It is dingy. It's kind of got an eerie vibe to it. It's just the art style. It definitely says shadow work deck. And it's basically designed as a shadow work deck. And it is. So, the Myths and Legends, the Magical Dogs Tarot, the Baroque Tarot, and the next deck I'm going to show you are all decks that I would grab in place of the Magical Beast Tarot because they can play up their weakness. So if I ran into a roadblock and realized it was shadow work, which this deck can't do, these are the decks that I would probably reach for. The next one is an indie Kickstarter deck. This is the Bloody Tears Tarot. So this is a vampire theme deck. And as you can see, artwork is very different. The Bloody Tears Tarot is kind of unique. It's actually made with black, blue, and red ink pen. So it's got a very unique perspective on the medium that's used. Okay, now we're going to start going into other deck options. And we're going to discuss the Tarot of Oneness. Yes, the Tarot of Oneness is in the anti-pairs. I made mention of the Tarot of Oneness in the original video, the deck Strength and Weaknesses, when I broke the Strength and Weaknesses down for the Beautiful Beast Tarot, that these two play the same role in my collection. The Beautiful Beast Tarot, Connections and Innovations, is the strong point. Shadow work is the weak point. Tarot of Oneness, connections and self-care are the strength. Shadow work is the weakness. And both of these have the same job. They tell me what the problem is, and well, they tell me how to fix the problem, the connections I need to fix the problem, but they don't always tell me what the problem is. So they offer solutions, is basically. They offer connections or a different approach to fix things. Not necessarily to outright say, oh yeah, here's your problem and here's your shadow work steps. They just offer the connections. They show me pathways. These two decks do, believe it or not get along. They do the same job. One has beast energy, one does not. One does self-care, which is the Tarot of Oneness, so it has more water energy, the spirituality side aspect to it. And then there's Beautiful Beast Tarot, which has innovation, so that's more air ideas influctuated into it. So these two just, nope. Which is really weird, considering they both have a close enough strength that you'd figure that they would be usable together. They're not. So I hope that didn't come as a complete shock to everyone. That might have actually thrown quite a few people. And the next deck I'm going to show you is an indie deck. It is a pip deck. It is actually by the same creator as the Bloody Tears Tarot, so it is made out of colored ink pen. It is called the Fantasy Garden Tarot. So for those of you that have never seen this deck, you're in for a surprise. And it does have gardens and nature, and you'd think, knowing that, because it is garden themed, there's earth energy here, that these two would get along better. The Fantasy Garden deck is also a pip deck, but these two do not jive. Nope. Nope, nope. I mean, so yeah, there's a lot of scenes, a lot of nature. Yes, there's people in the deck, but there's this high nature quality to this deck, and it still doesn't work. It just doesn't work, which is a shame, but that's okay. And it happens, just like the next deck I'm going to show you. Alright, and our next deck is the Game of Thrones Tarot. This is my deck that tells me about people. So one's people oriented, one is more animal energy oriented. So of course these two decks don't get along. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward on that. So we're going to move on to our next deck. We've got like 4 more to go. Our next one is the Tarot Illuminati. Okay, this is what I call my chaos deck. And it's, as you can see, very busy. Artwork is totally different. We have lots of color, we have lots of symbology, whereas Beautiful Beast is very minimal. And the Tarot Illuminati is a communication deck. It's the deck I usually go to during Mercury retrograde, because when things are chaotic, it simplifies and clarifies, whereas other times it's just chaos and is really difficult to communicate. So you have more of the quiet animal energy, simplistic artwork, and then you have the busy, noisy, communicative deck over here. So being a chaos deck, being high communication, when things are just kind of all over the place, there's a total disconnect here. Think of the Beautiful Beast Tarot as an introvert. Think of this as an extrovert with autism and ADHD trying to communicate. And yeah, basically this is going to run away screaming. And that's basically what happens. It doesn't work. So not something that I would try using in a pair. And our next one, I'm going to show you the backings, is the Egyptian Tarot. Now, the Egyptian Tarot has a strength of personal empowerment, and believe it or not, its weak point is shadow work, which is the same as our lovely, beautiful Beast Tarot. But this one wants to communicate connections and ideas. This one wants to talk about self-empowerment, so it's more wands, fire energy. So these decks, even though they both have the same weakness, they don't get along. They don't get along. Alright, and our next deck is going to be the Heaven and Earth Tarot by Jack Sephiroth and Jamie Alford. This used to be my #1 spiritual deck, by the way. And as you can see, artwork tone is completely different. This just vibes way too different. And there are certain aspects in this deck that I've noticed that are geared spirituality, and yes, probably shadow work is high up there. I mean, it's not the weakness of the deck, but it's high enough that these two just don't jive. They just don't jive. Okay, we're going to move on to our last deck. And I may need to zoom out for this because it's a bigger deck. We have baron-reid's The Good Tarot. This is another deck that does not go well with our beautiful beasts, which is a shame. We do have some beasts here in The Good Tarot. And I'm not sure if it's because this deck is only read in the upright and is only meant to be read in the upright. If maybe if you took reversals with it, if it would jive better. But these two, yeah, they're out of whack. And I can't exactly pinpoint my finger on as to why, but they don't function. And I don't know if maybe this is an uprights only, if that's part of the aspect, whereas if it was uprights and reversals, if maybe they would get along a little bit better. I might have to play with it a bit more just to find out why, but yeah, they don't pair well, so it's best just to not bother with it. And as always, now that we've reached our last deck, I'd like to remind everybody that everyone else is probably going to have different strength and weakness with the Beautiful Beast Tarot and with some of the other decks as well. So don't take it with a grain of salt. You may find one of these that works for you, that pairs well for you, and it's because one of these decks, whether it's the Beautiful Beast or the other deck, has a different strength and weakness, so you can pair them. But if you disagree or agree or find something else that does not work, let me know. I'd be really ecstatic to know, actually. And if you have a deck that you would like me to choose in the upcoming months to feature after the Beautiful Beast Tarot, let me know in the comments down below. If it's a deck I have in my collection, I will bump it higher up the list and try and get that out to you as soon as possible. Alright, my lovelies, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Feel free to watch the previous sections in the description box down below. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.